is Way Up with Angela Yee, and the definition of Way Up is in the room right now. Jesseca Dupart, a.k.a. the real BB Judy.
Yeah, I'm happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you,
it's
too.
It's been a few months. I think we did something together for BET.
Yes, we were in Atlanta.
Yeah.
We did something for BET, which was, by the way, a really great experience.
Yeah,
it was just
was.
talking about being entrepreneurs and helping out other entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I connected with somebody there, and we still connected, so I'm happy for that.
Was it from Glamaholics? That's how you got, or you knew her already?
No, I didn't. I knew her prior to that. The lady that I'm talking about, her name is owner of Mess. She has Mess in a Bottle.
Okay.
So she was pitching it.
I know her too, yes.
Yeah, she was pitching.
Okay, I think that's dope. And listen, as far as business though, you have been doing a thing. And I know every time I see you, we flash back to when we first met in New Orleans. And you definitely always have stood out and managed to, I think, utilize a lot of skills as far as marketing to be able to make sure that people knew about this product, Kaleidoscope. How long has Kaleidoscope been in existence now?
It makes 10 this year.
Wow.
It makes 10 this year. I think we was able to have successes, though, because I did something called edutainment. So it's like I educated the consumer while entertaining them. So it wasn't like the traditional thing. We do off-the-wall marketing. We remake music videos. We remake, hit series. So, yeah.
I think early on you were one of the people really utilizing those influencers to do creative sketches and things like that to market your product.
Yeah, it actually was I leaned into Love and Hip Hop hard. So Love and Hip Hop was a big thing. And so I would hire their talent. I would never forget. I think it was Tokyo and Spice were beefing. So I hired them. The episodes showed, it aired that they were fighting. So I hired them to do like a fight scene. And it hadn't been resolved on TV yet. So, I just kind of got in the mix of the thing. But yeah, hiring people that had influence at the time and just staying on a trend. I used to be on a flight. If something trended on Tuesday, I would be on a flight Tuesday evening trying to get to the person and, just make some content with them.
And also paying people, because I think that's important too.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry that I didn't know I had to say that part. I pay people and I pay people well.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying that's important, because sometimes people want a favor. Yeah, right? And so I want you to talk about that. And by the way, we're talking about this because you're also on a tour right now. And I think these things are important. The Judy Dropping Knowledge tour that sold out pretty quickly. So if you didn't get a chance to get your tickets.
Unfortunately, you can't have a ticket. But and you know what? A lot of people have been hitting us up since, I guess it's tax time or something. But I am very particular about how I fill a room. So when we do a city, we do a certain amount. And we don't exceed that because I have very intentional stuff that I'm teaching, and I like to be able to reach the people a certain kind of way. So
I saw people saying that, and I saw people saying they like that the rooms were intimate because the tour did just kick off, right? It's been what is this, the third date?
This will be the third date.
Okay.
Yeah, this will be the third date, and I'm halfway hoarse because I talk. I talk I leave it all out there. So 3 to 5 hours of me talking about all of the things that I've learned, because I felt like I wasn't formally taught none of this, but I had a lot of bumps and bruises along the way. So I know if I can do it, anybody can do it, because who am I?
Well, let's go back to what we were just talking about when it comes to paying people, because it was also known that she's going to give you a check, pay you, and that, it's something that I feel like people sometimes would ask for a favor and be like, I'm a new business. I don't really have the money to be able to do that, to pay you right now. They want a favor. But people knew, when it came to you with your Kaleidoscope, that if they were working with you, they know they was going to get a check. Yeah.
That spread like wildfire.
Yeah.
So people that I wasn't even reaching out to was reaching out to me. So that worked in my favor, but it also worked at disadvantage, because when it came to negotiations, we didn't even have much room for negotiations because everybody already said she dropping the bag. Make sure you get your money because she dropping the bag. But in the beginning, I didn't have a budget. So in the beginning, I did do something called a barter system, but that was in 2014, prior to anything like its kind at the time. I was a hairstylist, so I would give people a service and also free hair in exchange for them posting me on social media.
Hair is expensive, and services are expensive too.
Correct. So it was the barter system because I didn't have a budget. But then once I did build a budget, I made sure to lead with that. I will never forget, I tried to get Cardi one time. She was in town in New Orleans. This was years and years and years ago, and I love her. And I paid the party promoter to tell me the hotel she was staying in. And so I sat in the lobby of the hotel that she was staying in because I knew that she had to come out that night because they had booked her for something that night. And when she came downstairs, I had money in a brown paper bag. I had security guard with me. And I was like, listen, I got this. Can we just make a little quick video? And her management shut us down and turned us down. But she still posted me on her Snap.
Oh, that's
and
dope.
She still shows love. So I highly appreciate that. But yeah, I try to get it.
Right. And, I think that what's also important is your level of expertise of being in the field that you were in, but expanding your brand. Because
Correct.
like you said, you did hair.
Correct.
Then you had a hair salon. And then I saw the little frown because your hair salon did burn down. And it reminds me of Pinky Cole from Slutty Vegan. She talks
Yeah.
about her first business and how her restaurant burned down in Harlem. And that could be something that's very disheartening for somebody, right? To also be able to pick the pieces back up and keep it moving. So can you talk about that time of your life when you're like, all right, we got the salon, you got people coming in?
It's crazy because at the time I had just really dug deep into my faith. So I was a person that used to try to plan out everything. And so I planned out everything. And God told me it was time for me to move. I was in a relationship and I had a business with the person I was in a relationship with. We had a barber and beauty. And God told me it was time for me to move, but all I had was $2,000 in my bank account. And the place that I looked at, it was $1,800 down. And so I was like, nah, this don't feel right, But God told me to move, and I did. And it took a little while for me to get the first station in there, to get the first TV in there, and to get all the things going. And then once I got 75%, 80% completed, then we had a fire.
Ooh.
And we had a fire, and then I don't know if people understand how a fire works, but a fire happens, and then the insurance people have to come in and investigate, and they have to look. So you can't touch nothing.
Right.
You can't move nothing. There's no them coming in and saving you. You have to wait months for them to figure out what it is, what is salvageable, what isn't salvageable, what they're going to give you.
Because they're not trying to pay all that money if they don't have to.
No, and then not only that, but you have to prove that you paid for it. So it's not like you just put a whole bunch of shit in there.
Right.
Put a whole bunch of stuff in there and just say, oh, I bought it. You have to show
Receipts.
a million receipts, and it was such a headache. And at the time, I had like 6 to 8 people in my salon, so I felt fully responsible for their lives as well. It just so happened that the person that I was in a relationship with, we had a business together, and I left it, but she still had the business. So I just moved us back into the business that we came from, and we slowly but surely, worked our way back into the salon. But in the meantime, it was just grinding. It was grinding. And I could tell you New Orleans really showed up for us. People showed up. They gave us equipment. Like, they was giving us curling irons.
So
they was
dope.
giving us product. I feel like New Orleans saw what happened and stepped in a lot. I'll say that.
And when did you start developing the products?
We launched them in 2014. So when it came time for the reopening of the salon, I felt like, okay, well, if I'm going to open, I have to open better. I have to do this better because I don't have that. That budget was allocated over some months of me working, so I didn't have a big lump sum. So I felt like, let me come back and spend money better, and let me get things for cheaper. Let me get some stuff from China. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me get some chandeliers from China instead of the real chandeliers. And when I launched, I wanted to make sure that when I opened, I wanted to make sure that I launched when I opened. So when we had our grand opening, I also launched the products.
Right.
So that was in 2014.
And I saw something that you had said, and this is so true, is you don't look at things as just a devastation, but it's also, what did I learn from this?
Correct.
And so you learned a lot from that, just even you speaking on like, okay, let me not spend money on getting this real chandelier.
Right.
Let me not spend money on these things that,
Right.
It's decor.
Correct.
And so
then you can
things,
lose it in a second. And then the depreciation of a $3,000 chandelier that I bought a month ago, it goes from $3,000 to the insurance only want to give you $1,000. So now it's like, well, I don't want to spend $1,000. I can get it from China and put it together myself for $300, and that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
So I felt like it was something that I had to learn that, hey, if in fact something does happen where it's removed and you do not have the same thing that you had before, you still can make make it happen. You still can make it. Because then when I came back, I had more chandeliers. The first time I only had one, and I was excited about that big one chandelier. But when we came back, I had 3 because I now have learned how to price them right. I now have learned how to put in some manual labor myself and hang the little pieces on the chandelier. I'm not an electrician, but I learned how to put chandeliers together.
You can learn a lot on YouTube, by the way, also, right now.
Correct. So that was a big thing. And I think go forward, it just made me be very mindful of excessive spending.
Right. And then the other thing that you've done is moving from behind just being a business person and behind the scenes to letting people into who you are as a person. How hard is that to do? For you? Like,
I've been, what's crazy? I've been open this whole entire time. I think if anything, it's hard for my wife. So when we got in a relationship, she's private. And I was cool with her being private. I just wasn't used to those things. I was like, am I supposed to invite her to the movies that we do? We go out and do, like, what are we supposed to do? I don't know how to do none of this.
Right.
I don't know the rules. But she kind of wound up showing up to the party before me. She was like, I want to hold your hand. I'm like, bitch,
love will do that.
And so I made sure to support her in all the stuff that she was doing. But I have always been a person that's been transparent with social media. Right. I think that's the reason why I have a strong brand, because they know that, they've seen my ups, they've seen my downs. I get on live without makeup. I say that, yes, this can be good, but yeah, we have bad days too.
Yeah, she will definitely credit you, the Brat, with making her be more open for people to see her and kind of put your life out there. And y'all have been like so transparent about so much. Honestly, like for myself, even watching your journey together, I think it gives really valuable information, because people don't understand, like, when people want to be a mother, even considering that and like the different routes and things that you can do to make that happen. That's an important conversation.
That is. And you know what's crazy? My children, prior to our brand new baby, on their 20s. Yeah, no. My daughter is 26.
You had your kids before you were even 20 years old.
Right. So then this time around, motherhood is so different. And watching her be pregnant, it was such a great experience. Like, when I was pregnant, I don't even think I understood what was going on with my body. I didn't even understand the magic of pregnancy, because it wasn't intentional. Like, it's not like I went and sought out to get pregnant. We were very intentional about trying to have a child.
Right.
So it was like watching just the little things, like when she first heard, felt the flutter, I made sure to document a lot of it, because I felt like it was important to share with the world that it's okay to be a woman that is almost 50 and be excited about these things. It's okay that if you are later in life and you have not found love, or if you have found love later in life, it's okay to still experience these things that to society they feel like they count you out or it's too late. You still will have the same joy, the same happiness, the same everything, because you're still a woman. You still, if that is your desire, you still can go after it.
Like, my friends are like, Angela, you gotta have a baby. And I'm not gonna lie, every time somebody that's like older has a baby, they be sending me like, look, she just had a baby. Look, this is how she did it. But that is valuable information for anybody. And I think it's a shame when people want to weigh in and be like, oh, at that age, that's so selfish to do that. But she's like, she seems so young too, by the way. And I think when people say geriatric pregnancy,
oh my God,
oh
my God, oh my God, I was like, what are we calling this?
But we have shout out to Latham Thomas. She's a doula, and she was like, look, Angela, the way that it was back in the day, we have made so many advances when it comes to our health and when it comes to pregnancy that, maybe like, 100 years ago, that is what that was considered. People weren't living as long. People weren't as healthy. They didn't have the technology that we have today. It's way different now.
Yeah. And even during our pregnancy, so there is some added extra stuff. So you go to the gynecologist, but then you also have to go to the maternal fetal specialist, which is somebody that is literally doing like the ultrasound every week to make sure that the baby is growing properly and so forth and so on. Well, in the beginning, it's like once a month, and then as you go further on, it's twice a month, and then towards the end, it's once a week. But I feel like everything has been put in place to be able to make sure that everything is safe.
Right.
So, and my wife is absolutely in love. So,
the baby is so cute, by the way.
Thank
the little
you.
Chunky baby. I love a little chunky baby.
Thank you. He got 2 teeth now. He has 2 teeth. So.
Is he teething and biting on?
So she breastfeeds, but it's breastfeed now in a bottle. So I said, damn it, I wanted him to have teeth. I wanted him to bite you. You know,
So you can know what that experience
right,
is like.
For some reason, I just wanted him to nibble your nipple a little bit. So yeah, but he's growing. He's 21 pounds. He is
Sheesh.
Nice and active. Yeah, he is nice and active.
And so are you guys going to do another season of the show, or what's happening with that? Y'all did 3 seasons.
We are doing another season. We're supposed to be picking up in April/May. I'm happy for this time off, though, I can wholeheartedly tell you.
Well, even in this time off, you are still working.
I
you
know,
give yourself something else to do. You have a tour happening right now.
But with television, it's your life, work, and then even though they document it, you still have to schedule all the people around it. You know what I'm saying? So even if I have something that I'm doing, and even though all of this is them just following us around, I still have to schedule being at the warehouse or schedule. Like if I want to have a meeting with one of my employees right now, I can have it at 2:00. But then if the show is following, I have to schedule it. So everything just becomes so much more than, it's not
just spontaneously showing up.
No, it's not the 10-hour day no more. It's the 14-hour day. You know what I'm saying? It's the 15-hour day. And again, I'm appreciative for our little break, but we are going to come back with another season.
Mm-hmm. And so talk to me about this tour, right? So you kicked this off in Atlanta, then Tampa, and now you're in New York. So tell me what people are going to learn. I know how many people are in the venues, because I know you want it to be intimate so that it can really feel like
Atlanta had like 400 or 500.
Okay, well that's not that intimate.
Right. Tampa had like 100, 150.
Okay.
Atlanta showed up and I had closed the tickets, but then I opened them back up because I felt like, okay, obviously there's a need there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to cut it off. New York is more like 150.
Okay.
So
that's good, because then that's like a little family, and people probably meet each other, other entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And
Now, the last time I did this in 2019, and it was 18,000 people.
Ooh.
It was 18,000, and I was appreciative for it. But now the experience on it is a little different.
Right.
It does feel like, everybody gets to actually touch their neighbor. And everybody does get to, even though they've heard everything I said at the other tour, it just feels, I don't know, it feels a little bit more close to them. Like people walk away and feel like, man, she really was talking to me.
Yeah. And the Kaleidoscope brand has also been growing even more. So talk about where people can actually get the products and how you manage to do that, because it's not easy to get on some of these shelves in like a Walgreens or a CVS.
Yeah, it's by God's grace. We are in Walmart, Target, Sally's, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, HEB, Kroger. CVS, we got 4 times the distribution. So we in your local beauty store. We are everywhere. We started in the beauty supply store, and now we all over. And I'm appreciative. I say that I am highly appreciative for all of my consumers. We will continue to put out great product that works, and continue to grow the brand. I feel like the more I'm able to grow the brand, the more people feel like they can do stuff too.
Yeah, it's amazing when you think back to how you first were working from home, and then eventually like, okay, we've outgrown this space. I got to get a little warehouse. And then to see where you are.
It wasn't even I went from a room in my house to my mama's garage, because she had a big house. So my mom's garage, from my mom's garage to a storage space. And then we grew out of the storage space into something that I called my warehouse, but it was like a 5,000, 6,000 square foot place, to now we have a 40,000 square foot warehouse that I got in 2020. So,
Sheesh.
and we are finally at a place where we almost full to capacity. So now my warehouse director is saying, "You gonna give me another spot?" I'm like, "No, girl, we gonna figure it out.
We gotta get these shipments out."
Right. We don't need more space. We need to turn faster. That's
now,
it.
One thing that I feel like in our community, because we care so much about the person behind the brand, people get so mad when someone sells their business. Is that something that you think about?
I've had the whole conversations with a couple of my friends, because one of my friends sold. And the conversation was, what's the plan?
Right.
And I was like, girl, just to keep growing the business. Yeah, but what's the plan? What's the plan when you're 70, when you're 80? If you have not trained your children to be able to understand how to run a business, what's the plan? So just making sure that you have a plan in place. I do feel like the conversation itself is in the Black community is needed, but I feel like a lot of people don't understand like how hard it is to actually scale. I don't think a lot of people understand the advantages of the companies that actually have sold and now how they have sown back into the community.
Right.
So it can be a good thing if placed right. Like people think that selling, you sell out or it's just selfish. But if you selling, like example, Shea Moisture sold and they created all of these different opportunities and different things to be able to sow back into the Black community so that more Black founders could step up and do the same thing, right?
Yeah, like Richie Lou Dennis sold it, right?
Right.
But then he also started a fund
Correct.
that actually has invested into a ton
right.
of
And
Black
I've
founders.
heard about this, but I only know it from like the background.
And
I
he
know,
bought Essence.
Right. He bought Essence, and then he also helped Mayel.
Yep.
So it's like you've done these things, and you have this great pouring back into the community, but all the community hears is you turning Black into white. But unfortunately, because of how it is, until we have more Black people up at the top, none of these other companies are going to be able to get up there. It is extremely difficult to scale a company. And one of the biggest things that I learned is scaling a company from $20 million a year to $40 million a year could break you and bankrupt you.
Yeah.
So it sounds like, oh yeah, the money is good, but at the end of the day, if you're not knowledgeable, if you don't know about all of the things like the programs to participate in, the wealth management, all the rest of that, it could actually hurt you.
Yeah, you really have to front a lot of money to even be in these stores.
Correct.
And on these shelves, you have to supply the
Correct.
product. And then they do, I don't know if they do that, but like buybacks, and if things are on the shelves, once it gets in there, it has to sell.
So, and this isn't talked about right now, and I'm not going to say the retailer, but in one of the specific retailers, almost 80% of the Black founded brands have been put out. And not because the retailer hates them, but because they were only put in during the George Floyd movement.
Right.
And so these people weren't educated on what it took to stay in there and be in there. Mm-hmm. Each retailer has a cost of doing business. If I sell this directly to my consumer for $30, I sold it to you for $30, but I sold this to Walmart or to another retailer for like $9.99 because they have to make their margins on it.
And then you have to use a place. You have to get it shipped there, and sometimes
correct.
You have to use their distributor.
They don't pay you not just 30-day net. Sometimes they don't pay you 45 to 60. And then if you get in there and your stuff doesn't sell because you didn't realize that you have to get your consumer on shelf. A lot of people feel like once you on shelf, their consumer's going to buy it. No, if they're not familiar with you, girl, they're going to buy a great value.
Yeah.
They're going to buy the thing that's the cheapest. So if they're not familiar with you, they're not going to buy you. But a lot of people think once I got this opportunity, it's going to fly off a shelf. So when it doesn't fly off a shelf, it is called a rebate. It is the buyback. Mm-hmm. You are responsible 100% for getting your stuff off of the shelf, whether it's the consumer or whether you buying it back from them. And if you have already bought the product and if you sold it to them, they also selling it to you at a markdown of they making you pay more than what the hell they paid for it.
Right, and then sometimes you'll have to do a promotion, like a buy one, get one free. In order
those are mandatory. It's not sometimes. Those are mandatory. That's what I'm saying. So if people don't know, that's why I have a sales team. When I first got in, I had a salesperson, but now I have a sales team because each of the retailers requires you to participate in programming, which is the buy one, get one free, the 50% off. And those are great for our consumers, but there's a cost of doing that. So if I want to have a Black Friday something at Walmart for 50% off, I have to pay $25,000 to participate in it.
Ooh.
You see what I'm saying? Or whatever it might be at the time, or whatever it is that they sell through, they do one by one, and then they send you the tab afterwards.
Sheesh.
So
and those are things that people need to know because it sounds great to get in the store. I feel like we're doing this whole dropping knowledge tour right here.
Oh no, it's fine.
Yeah, but
no, and I say that all the time. I tell that's one of the things that I teach there. I say, do you think you're really ready for retail? Retail, you have to have.
I've seen that cripple people's businesses.
Correct.
I know people that have been doing well, just direct to consumer, and then they go into stores and it ruins their business.
Because it's not simple. Mm-hmm. It is complex, especially the programming, especially the mandatory programming, especially pricing it right. Not only that, but putting the right product in the right store.
Right.
Like
right.
if Ulta is going to carry is not it might not necessarily be what Walmart's going to carry.
And some people don't like if you're in Sephora and Ulta, you got to like pick. It's I've heard those stories too.
That depends though, because you can offer an exclusive if they giving you something, but if they're not giving you nothing, you shouldn't offer an exclusive anyway.
Right.
Like Walmart has been our greatest partner to date, right? So I gave them my exclusive to kids, but that's because Walmart has the most SKUs that anybody offers in our whole collection. So yes, I don't mind giving you the 6-month exclusive to kids. It's not gonna be forever, but it's 6 months and it's strategic. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So versus, oh, well, this person just wants the exclusive because you showed it to them first. No, what are you offering me? What is it that...
What do I gain from this?
Correct.
Relationships have to be, we both benefit.
Correct. And retail, listen, it's not the devil because it's
just challenging. It can be challenging.
It makes a lot of money, but it's a lot of layers, and not one person is going to own the wealth of knowledge to be able to manage that type of thing. So as a CEO, you have to know that you have to have support in all of the different levels, because you have to have support in marketing to be able to get it off the shelf to your consumer. So whether that's email, whether that's text, or whether that's social media, you have to articulate to your consumer not only to get out your bed and go get it. If you don't want to do that, at least when you're in there shopping, don't forget about me. Then you also have to understand the different levels of the price points, the different levels of the program, and different levels of all of that through a salesperson or a sales representative. Then you also have to get in front of them new innovation once a year to tell them, hey, I want you to put this in there for 2025. It's this, it's that, and make sure that you're selling them the right stuff in, because don't sell them the stuff that ain't selling on your website. Right. It ain't gonna just sell because you put it in there. It still ain't gonna sell.
That. Right.
But some people don't know that. So I feel like retail is great if you educate and you have the right support.
How did you get your team together right? Because I know that's a whole process. Nobody could do it alone, but...
Somebody approached me and said, hey, you want to go in the store? I can help you. I said, you could do what? Huh? What? How? Who? And it's crazy because they set me up in a beauty supply store incorrectly, but it wound up benefiting me in the long run. Like, they set me up in a beauty supply store at improper margins, right? So I sell the Miracle Drops online for $29.99.
Those are like the basis foundation of everything, because everybody loves
that
these
is the
Miracle
hero
Drops.
SKU.
Okay.
But everywhere it's sold for $19.99. So this is usually you have a comparable price between what the store sells and what you sell it for online. But now for us, people like the fact that we offer it for more. I mean, the retailers like the fact that we offer it for more and they get to offer it for less, because then they have a higher volume than we have. But then on the other side of it is, direct to consumer makes a higher margin. But in him setting us up like that, everybody wanted us. Everybody wanted us because they knew the consumer was going to go to them, because you're not paying me $30, you're paying them $20.
Right.
So it was again, it was set up wrong.
It was a lesson learned.
Yes, an expensive lesson learned. He came to me, he asked about it. I went into beauty supply, and from there, we slowly but surely started having conversations about doing other things. Like, it was like, do we want to do grocery? Do we want to do mass? Do we want to do whatever? Because grocery is different from mass. Like, Kroger is different from Walmart. And Kroger is different from Target. So, and CVS is different from Kroger. So all of these different things, you're supposed to offer them only certain things. So out of the collection, the person that's going in CVS might not necessarily care about a hair gel, but she might care about a conditioner. Okay. How do you know which one that they're offering? Like, if you out of town, you might not be buying a styler, but you might be buying a shampoo and conditioner because you have to wash your hair. But how do you know to offer them that unless you know? And I didn't know half of the stuff until I had to learn it from people, though.
This is amazing. Now, I know you've been doing this Judy Dropping Knowledge tour, and I know that you've always, reached back to other people. Have you ever, invested in another company or even been a mentor to somebody who's starting out?
I haven't invested in another company, but there have been quite a few different companies that I've mentored. I have been able to make a wealth of my friends multimillionaires.
That's great.
And I'm happy about that. And I am not going to name drop, because I would never take any credit away from anything that they've done.
What you doing for me, though, you could say my name. You good to go.
Yeah, I think my only downside of that is I realize that mentorship is supposed to continue. I think I mentor people, and then I let their hang go, because I let them kind of do their thing. But then kind of checking back in, it's like, Now, bitch, we didn't got you this. What is you doing? We didn't got you this for. Why are you backtracking? What is going on?
You know,
So
I think when people want a mentor, it's really, I think, a good thing to ask for something specific instead of just being like, can you mentor me in general? If there's a specific ask where it's like, look, I want to figure out how to get in Walmart. You know, if you can maybe make a connection for me, I think that for somebody who is as busy as you are, I mean, you know, you have a baby, you're married, you got the TV show, you got the products, real estate. They need to be mindful of.
Why do you like that stuff? Can we talk about that? It has given me holy hell, and I have tried
real estate.
Yes, I don't know how so many people are so happy about it. I am down to. I have 2 proproperties left.
You told me that last time I saw you. You were like,
I had an apartment complex. I sold it during COVID because it was the people didn't speak English at all, and the person that was collecting money was on site, so it was just unsafe.
And it's also
for
hard during that time to get people to pay their rent too.
Yeah, so I sold one in. I sold a strip mall, and I have a strip mall left, and I have the property that I have in Atlanta that I'm actually me as the real estate company owns it, but Kaleidoscope Hair Product rents it. But I don't. It's oh my God.
You know what? And that's why I always say when Cardi was like, "Don't give me no real estate, give me a Birkin," because it is a difficult. Real estate is not a given. Like people always act like get rich, invest in real estate, and you know generational wealth and all of that. But But I will say that I try to make sure that I don't do too much, like way more than I can handle.
Yeah, I think that's what I did.
And so that's really what has been great for me. You know, I got my real estate license because I have been doing so much in that space for myself.
You've been so successful. I follow you. I watched this the new renovation of it.
Oh my gosh,
like,
yeah, it's been a nightmare. But so like even with my first house, once I paid that off, I was like, okay, I'm ready to do some more things, and I did some properties in Detroit because the pricing was great. You know, I bought a property for $1,000. I bought one for $25,000 and one for $45,000. And then renovation, one of them I still have. And so once I did that, I felt like once I sold one, I used that money to renovate the other one. So it's not really coming out of your pocket too much.
Right.
And so then I did another brownstone in Brooklyn. I bought a condo in Brooklyn also that honestly, people would tell you don't buy stuff with the HOA fee. But that has been the easiest property that I've had to manage because if something goes wrong, the building takes care of it. I don't mind paying that fee because I never spent any money on fixing the place up. It was move-in, turnkey, ready to go, and it's been nonstop. Like there's never been a month that it's not rented out. And so,
That's good. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, so
I think I went too deep too fast.
I think it's a balance of things because what you did with the strip mall, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, I have right now. I come out of pocket somewhere between $40 and $50 a month.
Yeah, see, that's a lot of work.
And it's been like that for going on 2 years now. And it's not that I don't have tenants. It's just having somebody, because I don't do that. Having the right property manager to go in there and actually do the things. Like a lot of people get it and then just collect the rent and don't go maintain it or don't go do this.
Oh, you have to maintain it.
So yeah,
and the more you
it's
put
been
up maintaining a property, the more expensive it'll end up being for you in the long run.
I know they wanted $1 million for the roof.
Yeah.
For the roof. I was like, girl, wait, what?
And you know what else? I will say this too. It's really important. Because it's really important to have good contractors that you can deal with because one person will tell you this is going to cost $40,000, but if you know somebody that can do it, it could be $10,000.
Yeah.
And so I just think sometimes someone gives you a price and you just go with it. It's important for you to actually have those relationships and know what's needed because somebody will tell you need something and then another person, if they know you, will be like, you don't need to do that, and you can get it done for this and get it done right and make sure it's always licensed people doing the work because that'll always come back to you. But I feel you. It's not an easy thing. And then I think after the pandemic, people who own commercial real estate, that's been really tough too because you can't predict what's going to happen in the world that affects, what it is that you own. So
I gave everybody like a 2-month abatement when the pandemic. I
remember that.
As soon as the pandemic happened, I gave everybody that, and then it didn't benefit.
And it's really hard. Like even when I see some things happen in Atlanta with people squatting in homes, and that happens here too because tenants have a lot of rights, but sometimes it can be to the detriment of a homeowner. Because imagine if you can't pay your mortgage because this person isn't paying rent, but they won't get out, and then they're damaging your property, and now I got to pay for a lawyer, and there's it's just a lot of variables of things that can happen. And I know you're the type of person that likes to be in control of your business.
Right. And that, no, that's a loose, I don't have nothing. When I tell you, because I'm not, the place is in New Orleans and I'm in Atlanta, so I'm not physically there. So when I hire a professional to be able to do property management for me, I think that they're doing the right thing.
Right.
And it always takes for me to find out 6 to 8 months later after I've given it to them that we've got violations from the city because the fence done fell down.
Right.
Well, when the hell the fence fell down?
Right.
You know, we have tenants. I literally just switched property managers like a month ago, and I found out I have 8 tenants that are behind on rent.
Sheesh. And at
Why
the
would
end
you?
of,
Why are they there?
That's
why are they there?
Wild. And it's hard to get people out. And I will say that when something goes wrong, you own it, so it's on you.
Correct.
And so the story is always, Jesseca Dupart didn't do this and has violations on her building. Because that's a bigger story than, well, the property manager wasn't handling what they need to handle. So people have to understand that, you know. But
that's the one thing that I could say in business I haven't mastered.
Yeah.
And once I get this property up and running, I am selling it to try to do something in Atlanta that I can put my eyes on more.
Right.
It's something that kind of makes more sense. I feel like I want to look into like getting a content house or something. To me, that makes sense for me.
Okay.
But not the rest of that makes sense for me because even if nobody else uses it but me.
Let me tell you, you are never stopping, okay? You're on vacation right now, and well, not on vacation, but you're on hiatus from your show, and instead of taking a break.
I don't know why. I don't know how I tripped. This is what happened. I do Judy Claus every year, right? Mm-hmm. So Judy Claus this year, I said I would have one person, I would fly them out, and they get to spend a day with me, so forth and so on. And I had 150,000 people comment for that. And I felt like if that many people are interested in what I have to say, then maybe that there's a need out here.
Yeah.
So I couldn't pick one. I'm so extra. We flew 13 people in. For a weekend. I know.
Went from 1 to 13. Okay.
I know, it's so bad. I flew 13 people in for the weekend. Had the first day, sat down, walked them through the warehouse, gave them as much education as I could. Day 2, we did an intensive content shoot where I had a photographer, I had 3 videographers, and so when everybody left, everybody got like 5 pieces of content. And then Sunday we went to church. But I felt like for that many people to respond in that manner, then I'm supposed to get back out there. I know I ain't been back out there in a while, but I'm supposed to get back out there and at least touch the people that are in need. Because that to me felt like people in need, right? People really want to know what to do with their business because 2023 crippled a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people didn't realize them PPP loans and all of that money pumped into the economy. If you started your business in 2020 and every year it just seemed like, oh, you know what, I plan, and if I made this much that year, I'm gonna make this much that year, not realizing that it was inflated. So now a lot of businesses are going down and they feel like, oh my God, my business is failing. No, it's levelizing.
Right. Yeah.
You know, at some point it was going, the whole economy had to level set.
Yeah.
I feel like the only companies that didn't have a dip between the COVID money and the now is the people that were pre-existing and they knew their growth pattern. You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, a lot of businesses started and now have absolutely no idea what to do or what's going on, or don't even realize you can't talk to your consumer the same right now.
Yeah,
she's hurting.
Can. Yeah.
She's broke. You can't tell her, hey, buy this, it grows your hair. You have to make this valuable. This has more ounces than the average thing, so this will last you longer. Mm-hmm. Now I save money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yes,
like,
it helps you grow your hair. 6 months. Right. Yes, it'll help you grow your hair, but on the other side of it, it also has other benefiting factors where it lasts you longer, it saves you money, it saves you time. It has to add value outside of what you normally have communicated to your consumer, because people don't want to be sold to right now.
Yeah.
They are hurting.
Yeah. It is. It's definitely a tough time. And that's part of the education of your product that you have to provide for the consumer so they understand why there is value in your product and what makes it different from other products that might be less expensive that are out there.
Right. And you have to talk to your consumer a little bit more. Yes, you only had to talk to her one time before because she had the PPP loan. Now you got to talk to her 3 or 4 times. You have to let her know. You got to be in her face more. And a lot of people get discouraged by that, but it's just a different time. Right now, it's just a different time.
What do you think is a misconception about you that people have? Like, do you ever see things because,
Yes.
some people want to be separated from their product because they don't want to feel like if something happens to me, now people aren't going to support my product because we've seen that happen. But are there things about you that people say that you're like, this is just not true? Because I think that's another thing that happens when you're in the public eye. People can be very critical and even say things that
It's so many
aren't
things
true.
I've heard about myself, and I was like, damn, I ain't know that. The most recent thing, I think that for people that have found me very recently in the last 2 to 3 years, a lot of people think that I found my success when I found my wife.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize that I had success and I had made millions prior to ever meeting her, and I met her from contracting her
Right.
as a celebrity to kind of do stuff with my product. But a lot of people felt like the success of Kaleidoscope was based on the back of my wife. So that's
You're like 10 years. We are 10 years in.
yeah, but you know what? I'm not gonna argue because if her face on there is gonna make you buy it, because this is our number 2 selling collection.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about to try to pass up the Miracle Drop. So if it's going to continue to make people
I'll take
buy,
it.
you say what you want. I don't care.
Thank you, wifey.
I don't care.
Well, listen, how can people find you? I mean, I know they can't even participate because everything is sold out as far as the tour, which is a blessing. But, if people want to reach out or see what you have going on, just give them the page.
Sure. You can follow me on all social media platforms, The Real BB Judy. That's DAREAL BBJUDY.
I was like, is she going to change that ever? But people just know you.
When I first came out with it, I didn't expect to be this, but I had branded it so hard that I said if I meet Miss Michelle Obama, I don't want her to think that I'm the real BB Judy. Like I would
The real big booty Judy.
Right. I would prefer to be the Miracle Drops lady or something, but all is well.
All right, so go ahead. Where else?
On all platforms. And then also Kaleidoscope Hair Products, that is on all platforms too. And I know that's kind of long to spell, but Kaleidoscope Hair Products is spelled exactly like that.
Right. Well, get your hair right. Get your Miracle Drops and get your braid and braid spray, the mousse, all of the things that you need. Get your stuff for your kids, too, because you have the kids line as well.
Kids line launches next week.
Okay.
I'm excited about that.
Oh, that's so dope.
It had been kind of dormant for a while. I had it. And I had to switch manufacturers, and I couldn't find nothing right, and I didn't want to put out just anything. So I finally found the specific thing that I wanted, and they got it just right. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
All right, and then season 4?
Season 4 you will have before the end of the year.
Okay, before the end of the year. This tour ends in New Orleans.
Yep.
Feels like a big party at the end of this tour.
The finale.
On April 7th. Hopefully you decide to sit down after that for at least a week.
My wife's birthday is the next week, so
okay.
Her birthday's on the 14th, so then there's that.
Well, I can't wait to see what you guys do because I know you have something special planned. That's in your DNA.
Yep.
All right. Well, Jesseca Dupart, thank you so much for joining me today. It's always a pleasure to see you in real life. It's way up.